everyone. Welcome to Donna's Happy Hour. Today I have the great pleasure again, and I do say again because honestly, he is one of my favorite singers, musicians, artists that I've ever had on my show. His name is Rob Benson, and he has a new album that's going to be out, and the name of that is The Story Never Ends. I am telling you, you are going to want to buy it. It's absolutely awesome. The artists and musicians that are playing on this album will take your breath away. So with no further ado, grab your drinks, whatever they may be, because I'm hoping you'll spend the next hour with me.
Yes, this song is off of my new album called The Story Never Ends. And I wrote this one several years ago. And it's called For Himself. And it goes like this. He's doing everything he can. He's trying every avenue, trying to find himself again. It doesn't matter what he'll do, only to be what he once knew, and only to be in his old shoes. He's got to find himself again. He's got to find someone brand new. He's got to hear it for himself. It doesn't matter if it takes so long. He got his answer long ago. For some reason he feels it's wrong. He remembers his old school. He remembers being cool. Now he feels he's all alone, and now he feels he's far from home. That's not the way that it should be. He can get there quietly. He's not the same, he's not alright. He's holding dreams, he's holding tight. He's got to hear it for himself. It doesn't matter if it takes so long. He got his answer long ago. For some reason he feels it's wrong. He's got to hear it for himself. It doesn't matter if it takes so long. He got his answer long ago. For some reason he feels it's wrong. He's got to hear it for himself. It doesn't matter if it takes so long. He got his answer long ago. For some reason he feels it's wrong. He's got to hear it for himself. 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 Ooh. Many years ago, I wrote a song. I wanted to write a song about some influences of mine. The Beatles being one, and oddly enough, the band Kiss being another one. And so I wrote a song called Yesterday, Beth. The Beatles Yesterday and Kiss's Beth, to sort of describe my feelings about those two bands and how they influenced me. And it goes like this. Yesterday, Beth, I could hear what you were thinking inside. Your time in the spotlight is a time I'll remember all my my life. It doesn't matter where you are, 'cause your song remains with me. Yesterday when such a perfect sound to the ears of a child, like the people before me. I could listen to you over and over again. It doesn't matter where you've gone, because your song remains with me. Beth, yesterday, yesterday, Beth. And people can be so cold, it's always been told. But what a sound to be heard all over the world. What else can I say? Beth, yesterday, you were different, but someone people seem to like. You had your time in the limelight. I can't take that away from you. It doesn't matter who you were, because people like you just the same. Beth, yesterday, and it doesn't matter who you were, because people like you just the same. Beth, yesterday, yesterday, Beth. And people can be so cold, it's always been told. But what a sound to be heard all over the world. What else can I say? Beth, yesterday, yesterday, Beth. Beth, yesterday, yesterday, Beth.
Hello, Rob.
Hello.
So, we're back.
Yes, we are.
And things have opened up a bit more, thank goodness.
Yep.
COVID is still with us a little bit, but it's so nice to be able, actually, for the first time, I went out to dinner with my husband.
Nice.
And it really is, you know. It was a tough year. It was a tough winter.
Yeah, everybody needs that.
You do. You
again.
do. You need, and you know what? You need the socializing.
Yeah.
I never realized how important getting together and laughing and having fun.
I know.
What a huge influence and impact on your life it is.
It really is.
And so one of the things that I want to find out, I know you've been hard at work on the new album. Again, the story never ends. The last time Rob was here, I could not get that name right. But I finally got it down.
It only took you 8 times, I think.
It only took me 8 times. That's right. And now he has a third album that's going to be coming out.
Next year, yes.
And that one is Blame It on the Scarecrow.
Hey,
Look at that. I'll tell you, I must have ate my Wheaties this morning, you know. Or I had enough coffee, one or the other. But so tell me, now, one of the things actually that you did tell me is that Peter Kalo is the producer of this album. And Peter himself has quite a resume.
He sure does, yeah.
And I looked up some of the artists that he has played with and toured with. He toured a lot with Carly Simon.
Yes.
But he also has his own album, The Time Machine.
Yes.
And I have never heard that. I'm going to have to listen to that.
Yeah, he has a few albums out himself.
He does.
A few
Okay.
solo albums, but that was his latest one, I believe. The Time Machine is called.
Okay.
It's a great album.
Is it? I'm going to have
it's
to
very
look
good.
it up. As I said, I do my research, and sometimes I don't get all of the things in, but I did get that.
He's a phenomenal musician.
Oh my gosh. I mean, he also played with Willie Nelson, Andre Bocelli, Carly Simon, Hall & Oates, if I'm not mistaken.
Jimmy Webb, yeah.
Jimmy Webb.
The list goes on and on for
I know,
all these guys.
I know. It's amazing. Tell me, have you finished the second album up? Is that
all the recording is done.
Okay.
So right now Peter's working on doing the final mixes.
Okay.
And so he'll do the final mixes. He'll send them to me, and then we'll have a conversation to see if are we good to go, and then we'll have it mastered.
Right.
And then it'll be done.
And then it'll be done.
Yeah.
Wow.
I expect probably sometime in beginning of June. I'm hoping, and then I'll send away for the for the CDs and put it on Spotify and all that. So I'm hoping by the end of June, beginning of July at the latest, it'll be available to everybody to hear.
Right. Oh, I can't wait, honestly. One of the things I have to tell you is you're going to hear Rob singing several of those songs that are on that album. But think of the fact that he sounded so beautiful today. And to have all those fabulous artists on that album, I can't even imagine how much better it could be. You sounded fantastic today. You really
Thank you so much.
did.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just the rough mixes that Peter has sent me with these guys on there. I myself am blown away by it. I just, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm just like, oh my God, it's just amazing. Really. I mean, these guys are the best in the business. You're not going to find a better group of musicians.
Well, I have to tell you, what I did is after, because I asked you the names of who was on it. So I'm just going to read this off, my little notes here, my cheat notes, because it is a lot to even. So you now have Jerry Marotta. Now, Jerry has played with Stevie Nicks, Elvis Costello, Paul McCartney, Carly Simon. That's just to name a few. Peter Gabriel.
Yeah.
I mean, and he toured with Peter Gabriel, you said,
for like 10 years.
For 10 years. That's a long time.
That's really great.
That's amazing. He's a drummer, if I'm not mistaken, right? And then you had Mark Rivera.
Yep.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Mark Rivera, yep.
And he's worked with Simon and Garfunkel, John Lennon, Billy Joel, to name a few. I mean, it's just amazing.
He tours with Billy Joel, and he tours with Ringo Starr. He's part of Ringo Starr's all-star band.
Yes. You know what? And I probably saw him because I've seen Ringo Starr several times.
I'm sure you saw him on stage,
I love going to see his concerts. If you haven't, make sure you catch it, because Ringo Starr, everybody that's on stage, that's why it's called Ringo Starr and his all-star band, is a star in and of themselves. And it's a fantastic show. Yep. And I also want to go, he has Rob Pavarazzi.
Yes.
And he was an original member of the Blues Brothers.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
That blew me away. I couldn't believe it. And has also toured with Dolly Parton and opened several times for Bruce Springsteen, is what I also read. Yep. The list goes on, and then you have John. Is it John? Is that Joe Cobert?
John.
Yes,
John
it
Cobert,
is.
Yep.
Okay, and he's played with John Lennon, Tom Chapin, Klaus Nami. Mm-hmm. I was literally sitting there going, "That is gonna be some album."
The talent. I mean, it's like I said, it just blows you away.
It is. It really is. I mean, it's one thing when you hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to have a lot of we call it A-list artists in the business," but it's not until you really sit down and you look at what they've accomplished and what they've done, because most of them have gone on to do many more things. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Peter, if if memory serves me right now. He has Grammys that he's won, I believe.
I'm not sure about that. That I'm not sure
Or
of,
nominated, maybe nominated. I'm not really, I'd have to look it up.
That I'm not sure of, but he's, you know, these famous people that they've played for are obviously, a lot of them are more older, you know, 70s, 80s, 90s, but still just phenomenal. The fact that they're playing on my record is a big,
Oh, it is.
for me, it's a big deal because, you know, they're taking their time and they're sharing their talents with me.
But it also tells you that they wouldn't be doing it if they didn't feel that you had the talent, you know?
I doubt it.
I mean, there isn't, no. They wouldn't be. I mean, you know, when you have an artist of their caliber and all of them willing to come in on it, they obviously like what they're hearing. They see your talent.
Yes.
And when you get that caliber of musicians, it just makes you work harder, and everybody, I think, becomes more creative. It's just kind of like a snowball effect.
Yeah, it really does. Just working alone with Peter on these songs, my creativity just goes through the roof because he'll throw an idea out at me, a chord change or whatever, and I'll be like, I never thought about that, and and I'll go with that, and I'll say, wow, this really sounds so much better. And,
well, isn't it true? Like just a little thing like that can really make a huge difference. Or even like, let's say, if you were singing a song one way, and you'd go up on, you know, on this particular, and somebody says, you know, maybe bring it down an octave or two, or, you know, do this. And playing around like that, and when you have somebody so seasoned like that, that can throw those ideas out to you, and you're good enough to be able to take the ball and run with it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
It's exciting.
And that's why I say, you know, they wouldn't be wasting their time. They've got, you know how many other people are knocking at their doors hoping to get that opportunity.
Well, a lot of people get turned away because, you know, you know, there's so many people who are songwriters or whatever, and they'll try to get to people like this, and, you know, usually it just gets ignored.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So, but it's exciting on this record coming out. I wrote a song called A Child's Hero, and that was a tribute song I wrote to James Taylor.
Oh, really?
He was one of my childhood heroes growing up.
Okay.
And so Peter has a connection to James Taylor and some of these other guys too. So we're hoping to get this song to James Taylor to hear.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
I would love that because,
you
know, for one of my heroes to hear a song I wrote for him would be kind of a dream come true for me. So.
Right, absolutely.
So
now you didn't sing that today, did you? Did you?
I sang it last time, I believe. I did not sing it today.
Oh, I'll have to look back on the. Okay. Oh,
but it sounds really great. I mean, on the record, it sounds great. I have Johnny Dinklage, who's a fiddle player. He plays a little bit on that. And,
wow!
It's very pretty.
Wow! Oh, I can't wait to hear it. I was so excited, and I am so excited for you. I just can't wait.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited about it too.
Oh my gosh!
So one day while I was working, I was driving along the road, and there was this bluejay laying in the road, and it was injured. And it started to mist outside, and suddenly this bluejay seemed to get some life, and it flew away. So I was kind of inspired by that, and I wrote this song called Bluejay Rain, and it goes like this. Deep in the darkness, there's a mist called Bluejay Rain. Nobody knows exactly where it got its name. Some say one day a bluejay lost its way. A broken wing that started to heal in the rain. Make every breath count as you walk through bluejay rain. Look up high to see the clouds cry on your pain.
Close your eyes and feel the vibe, no need to try. Sit on the wing while the bluejay sings your name. Bluejay rain, it always comes back down and around. You're feeling no pain, as if you've turned your life around, but you're still the same. Tell everyone you know that you've been through bluejay rain. Look up high and see the clouds cry on your pain. Grab the sky and try to find a reason why. Ride the wind and follow him to another plane. Bluejay rain, it always comes back down and around. You're feeling no pain, as if you've turned your life around, but you're still the same. Deep in the darkness there's a mist called bluejay rain. Nobody knows exactly where it got its name. Some say one day a bluejay lost its way. A broken wing that healed itself in the rain. Bluejay rain, it always comes back down and around. You're feeling no pain, as if you've turned your life around, but you're still the same.
This is a song off of my new album called The Story Never Ends. And I've played this one many times. I'm sure I've played it with Donna before, but I'm going to play it again. As Donna says, I'm a little bit of a softie, so this is one of those songs. I open my eyes in the morning. There's nothing else better than this. I look at her eyes and I smile. I look to the sky and say this. I say amen. Amen. With eyes like a field of new flowers, loving that soft, gentle touch. Well, I could just hold her for hours. Well, I just can't get enough. I say amen. Amen. Well, this kind of thing just don't happen to a regular guy like me. And now it's all about the fun and the laughter. Well, this is the best life can be.
holding her heart forever and spending the rest of my life giving the love and attention to this angel I call my wife. I say amen, amen. I say amen, amen.
All right, for my next song here, I'm going to do another one off of my album, The Story Never Ends. I wrote this one several years ago. It's a really great one. I have the great Mark Rivera playing sax on it, on the album. It's called The Way About Her.
Well, she knows what I'm thinking, and she knows what to say. And in no time, she makes up her mind, believe me. And she has all it takes now to carry my world away. And in her mind, she can find all the reasons. And she's got a way about her. She's got a way. Well, she goes into a dream now of white horses and fields to play. And in no time, she's riding real high, believe me. And she's got a way about her. She's got a way. And she dreams of a cloud that travels with silver lining down. And goodbye, and it's gone forever. And then she comes back down. Yeah. Well, she's got a way about her. She's got a way. And she's got a way about her. And she's got a way.
Now, one of the questions, and I ask questions that I think the audience might want to know because I don't know the answers to this sort of thing.
Yeah.
So most of the fellows here have toured,
Yes.
and I noticed that, like, with other bands and people that I've interviewed, that touring, does that come later in the career when you become more famous? Or is it just something that doesn't happen as much?
Well,
Or-
typically a band will tour to promote their new records. Typically.
Okay.
So these guys are going to the studio. They'll finish an album. Now they got to go on tour to promote it. That's
Okay.
typically what happens. In fact, Peter has talked to me about touring,
Right.
to promote this album.
Right.
Even if it's solo,
Right. Right.
just play at different venues wherever around here, Jersey, New York, or wherever I can get to.
Right.
So that's typically what will happen. They'll go on a tour to promote their record.
Right. Because now that I'm doing this, I watch a lot of documentaries on artists. And going back in the 50s, one of the big things was getting in a bus you know, and touring and going from town to town to town, you know, and they'd be on the road like 250 days out of the year. Is that something that you might have to do down the road?
Well, it depends on how far along I get, I suppose. You know, like right now I have to keep working, you know. But if I get to a point where things are really taking off for me, then I would probably consider something like that just to promote to promote myself.
Right.
On, you know, I'd have to finalize a band and all that kind of thing. But you know, that's looking down the road, you know. But it's really great to be associated with these guys. I'm not sure if any of them would even have time to tour with me, these guys that I'm on here, because they're very busy. They're recording with all these famous people all the time. Right. But one of the things I love, I've become, you know, kind of friends with Jerry Marotta, who was the drummer. And, you know, just sitting down there with him talking, you know, he'll tell me stories about what it was like to go on a tour with Peter Gabriel. Or one of my all-time favorite band was the Beatles. And Jerry played on a Paul McCartney album. So we were sitting there having dinner one night, and I was saying to him, "You got to tell me what it's like to play with Paul McCartney, because I can't, you know, I can't imagine."
Can't even imagine,
And it's just, you know, like he would say to me, he invited me to his house over in England, and we would sit there, and he said, "You know, you're a little starstruck at first, but after a while you realize, you know, he's just a guy.
He's just a guy. I know.
A guy, you know." But because I said, you know, if I was sitting in a room with Paul McCartney, I probably would have a million questions to ask him, because I'm such a big fan. You know? But,
well, that's the thing, you know, it's like, and I would imagine that there is somebody that Peter has that when he finally got to meet him, he felt the same way that you feel, you know, like I think anybody would be starstruck if they met Paul McCartney.
I would think so,
Ringo Starr, Paul McCartney, I mean, you know, Mick Jagger. There are certain
people,
artists that you just sit there and you go, you know.
I know Peter told me a story one time. I believe it was, I think he was invited to be a musician at, you know, they have the Kennedy Honors where they have all the, you know. And he was on stage, and he said, "I'm standing there getting ready to play." And he said, "I'm looking around, and there's Paul Simon over there, and there's Hall & Oates over there, and there's, you know," he's like, "I'm surrounded by all these famous people." And he said it sort of took him back even a little bit. You know, he's played with many. But to be sitting there with them all around you, all around like, wow, that's, you know, that's Diana Ross over there, and that's, you know, all in one place. So there are certain times where even guys like him can be starstruck.
Absolutely. And I would imagine even with Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger and any of the they had people that they idolized and looked up to, and that's what influenced their music. It's only natural. It's only, you know.
I'm looking forward to John Covert, who plays piano. He played piano and accordion on my record. And he got the privilege of playing with John Lennon. And John Lennon is my all-time favorite. So I'm looking forward to a day where I can sit down with him and talk to him about that experience.
You know. Well, that would be, and like George Harrison, you know. I mean, when you think about just being able to say that, you know.
Those are names that everybody in the world knows, whether you're a fan or not. You know those names.
You know those
famous,
names. You know,
just super famous people.
I mean,
like, oh my God, what was that like?
When you think about it, I mean, it's pretty amazing, you know, that a lot of these guys are still out there singing and doing, you know, at 70 plus, you know, for some of them.
Yeah, Paul McCartney is pushing 80 right now. I think he's 78, I want to say. Something like that. And he still plays. It's in front of, you know, 50,000 people and stadiums and stuff. Oh my God,
it is amazing. It really is amazing. So, you know, I have some questions that I wrote down that I try to come up with different questions for you, so that every time you sit with me, you're not getting the same, you know, questions. So let's see how I did on this one. One of the questions is, do you find that you have, like, when you're doing your album, do you have a song that winds up becoming your favorite?
Favorite on the album, you mean? Like
or just in general, do you have songs that tend to be your favorite?
Well, I've written over 500 songs, so it's and so when I decide to do an album,
Right.
I try to narrow that down because you can only put so many on an album. So I try to narrow that down to some of my favorites.
Right.
So when I'm doing the album, I'm already doing songs that are my personal
That your favorites, okay.
or possibly songs that I've gotten the best reaction from people for.
That was going to be one of my other
Yeah.
questions is what makes that like kind of your favorite, and what do you think determines that it makes people that it's their favorite? What do you think is the contributing factor there?
Well, I think some of my songs are very, especially my softer songs, where they tend to
Right.
touch people a little bit more because they're emotional. That people can relate to them.
That
possibly.
relate. Okay.
Like the song like "Amen" I wrote is it's a love song.
Okay.
And it's something that people can relate to because people who are in relationships or who are married or whatever, they can picture singing it to their wives or the wives or the wives picture their husband singing it to them.
Singing
kind of thing.
it to them. Okay.
This album here is I tend to be a little more country-ish. This album
Okay.
is a little bit less country. The Story Never Ends, a little less country.
Okay.
It's more it's rock, but James Taylor-ish kind of rock.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think a lot of these songs are, especially with these guys on there, are catchy. And I
Right.
think that's a big thing too. You want to write a song where people will listen to it,
Right.
and they won't be able to get the song out of their head all day.
Right. That's right. So that was another question that I was going to ask is, do you feel it's the driving beat of that song that makes it become, let's say, a #1 hit? Do you think it's that, like
Yeah, I think so. I think it's the beat. I think it's
the words, the whole combination?
Sometimes people connect to the lyrics, but I think the initial things, they connect to the beat. They connect to the emotion of the song.
Right.
But I know a lot of people who will actually listen to the words and they'll say,
Right.
wow, this, a couple of people heard my last album, Under the Whispering Tree.
Right.
And a couple of things, and their comment to me was, I love your lyrics.
Right.
So that people do listen to the words.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I know that, like, for instance, some of the songs you were singing today, the lyrics and the words are beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
And to me, and I'm no pro at this, but I would think Peter and Jerry and these guys, when you got done doing a song, did they look at you and go, that's a #1 hit?
Yeah. Well, Peter says it to me all the time. He always says, wow, this is good. This is a good one.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
There's certain songs where I'll say that.
I would imagine that they know right away.
Yeah.
Jerry
Jerry would put the drums down was putting drum tracks down, and he texted me and he said, great stuff, man. And it's like, thanks.
Yeah.
It's great to hear somebody on that level
Right.
say something like that.
Say something. Absolutely.
Like, wow,
absolutely.
I guess I am. I really do know what I'm doing. Or
Yes.
I am doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah, because when artists tend to be the most insecure people.
Pretty
and
much,
so
yeah.
a lot of times you need that confirmation. I think in anything, honestly, is to get confirmation, whether you're building a house or you're somebody saying to you, wow, you did a really great job. It's so important to hear that,
It is.
and unfortunately, we may think it, but we don't always say it,
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you that I am absolutely going to be one of those people, and I'm hoping I get a free CD.
Nothing's free anymore, Donna.
And nothing's free in life. I know my father always told me that. But
$50 for you now.
yeah, and especially if I don't get the name of the albums right.
No, I'll get you a copy.
Well, but one of the other questions is, and I think we kind of already, what in Peter's opinion makes a hit song, but I think we
Yes.
kind of went over that.
Yep.
And about what people relate to. And Ethel, you got to stop dinging me now.
I wanted to be here today. As a little boy, I grew up in a town called Schultzville. Schultzville is a town outside of Rhinebeck, New York. And we had hills that we used to sleigh ride on. And as a child, I used to call them mountains, even though they were just hills. But to a little kid, they were mountains to me. So as an adult, I wrote a song about my experiences there a little bit, and it's called Schultzville Mountain. And it goes like this. I'm passing the farm where Alice does her farming all day long. She's been the same for years and years, doesn't bother her at all. At the top of every mountain, where the people tell it all, and the early morning air meets the colors of the fall. Schultzville Mountain, take a hold of me sometime, and bring me to the rivers and the valleys back in time, and take me down to Fiddler's Bridge so I can hear the sounds. Schultzville Mountain, take a hold of me sometime. The roads all twist and turn, but they all head to home. You ride past friends in these mountains who don't think twice to lend a hand. But in this home you're not alone, there's nowhere else to be. And the lakes all reflect the sky as far as I can see. Schultzville Mountain, take a hold of me sometime, and bring me to the rivers and the valleys back in time. Take me down to Fiddler's Bridge so I can hear the sounds. Schultzville Mountain, take a hold of me sometime. Schultzville Mountain, take a hold of me sometime. Bring me to the rivers and the valleys back in time. Take me down to Fiddler's Bridge so I can hear the sounds. Schultzville Mountain, take a hold of me sometime. Sometime. Schultzville Mountain. Sometime. Schultzville Mountain. Sometime. Sometime. I've written over 500 songs, but when it comes down to singing them, I'm always like, what should I sing? I just don't know. I don't. Yeah, I know. It's so hard to choose from 500, you know. Yeah. Okay. I'll be here's a song I wrote a few years back also, carrying along the pattern of being a softie. This is called Tonight. December night, snow on the ground, and stars that light up the sky.
You and I start a life not knowing we had tried. Tonight, I need to see the moon in your eyes. It really makes me smile, fly high. So high that even we can see the sky. Shine bright tonight. Will I hold your hand? We stand by the riverside. All the people passing by. Then I bring you home and I wave goodbye. But I couldn't leave. I couldn't even try tonight. I need to see the moon in your eyes. It really makes me smile, fly high. So high that even we can see the sky. Shine bright tonight. 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 Tonight.
So, in 2022, I have a new album, my third album with Peter Kalo coming out. And this album is going to be called Blame It on the Scarecrow. More than 2 words. And this is the title track off that album. It's kind of about friendships going bad, and it's called Blame It on the Scarecrow. We'll blame it on the Scarecrow. Blame it on the Scarecrow. Blame it on the Scarecrow. Vast and empty field, working out a deal with the sun. There he sits alone, high upon his throne, he's the only one. With luck he'll get some rain, releasing all the pain, if just for a day. It's easier, you know, to blame it on the Scarecrow anyway. Blame it on the Scarecrow. Blame it on the Scarecrow. Blame it on the Scarecrow. Oh, now the carpet needs to grow, but it can't when all the crows come down to feed. There's a reason why he's there. You can tell he doesn't care, afraid to help a friend in need. So blame it on the Scarecrow. Blame it on the Scarecrow. Time I see an old friend of mine
job is done, I remember all the fun and think of everything he said. So blame it on the Scarecrow. Blame it on the Scarecrow. Blame it on the Scarecrow. Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of things in my life, crossed the bridge from then until now, but nothing compares to what lies ahead. Well, I knew I'd get there somehow, and all the memories I've made will never be lost as I start moving on far from fear. 'Cause all of those things that happened before are the reason why I landed here. So follow me, it's not real far. Find out all about me and discover all the wonderful things under the whispering tree. Well, I've never been one to hide from it all or to act like there's...
Tell me, let's go a little bit into about the Scarecrow, the next album.
Yes. Yep, that'll be my, when I met Peter and I talked about doing albums with him,
Right.
we had talked about doing what we call a trifecta, doing 3 albums.
Okay.
So Under the Whispering Tree was the first one. Did that
Okay.
last year.
And that's an excellent one, too.
Yeah,
as
that
well.
one's available actually on my website, robbensonmusic.com, or it's also available on Spotify, iTunes, everything.
Right.
Then I have The Story Never Ends, which is coming out this June or July, the latest.
Okay.
Then next year will be the 3rd and final one, and that's
Okay.
going to be Blame It on the Scarecrow. And that one also contains a lot of my personal favorites.
Okay.
It's, I could keep going on and do a 4th and a 5th and a 6th, but I'm gonna try to wrap it up with 3 and then come back a few years later. But
Right. Right.
but that one's gonna be a good one too. It's got a lot. It actually has probably more of my favorites on it than these first 2.
Right.
And I expect to have the same talent on there and everything.
Wow.
So it's
Wow.
gonna be
That's
fun.
going to be. So, so I'm going to guess that after you do the 3rd album, that's when you're probably going to maybe do some touring. Is that the plan?
I'll have 3 albums to promote. So
Okay.
I'll be doing seeking out a lot of radio play.
Right.
I'll be out there performing, trying to push them and
Right.
trying to promote the best I can.
Right, right.
There's a lot of ways to promote your albums. A lot of them are very costly, so I'm not really sure how far I can push that. But
Right.
it's like you can hire radio promoters, but they want thousands of dollars for that. So
Wow. Wow. Interesting.
nothing's for free, like I said.
Right.
But but
My CD isn't.
yeah, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna push the best I can.
Well, just go ahead and tell the audience again where they can find your album, Under the Whispering Tree, and where to keep an eye out for you, on Facebook, or do you have a Facebook page, a music page?
Yeah, I have a website called robbensonmusic.com, Facebook page, Rob Benson Music. I'm also on Instagram at robbenson1102, Twitter, robbenson1102. I'm on Spotify, I'm on iTunes, I'm on Apple Music, Pandora, Yahoo Music, or not Yahoo, YouTube Music, I mean.
Okay.
Pretty much anywhere you can find music, I'm there. Under the Whispering Tree is already out and available. The Story Never Ends will be out late June, early July. So that'll also be available on the sites. I always have CDs on hand with me too, if you're out watching me perform or whatever. So.
And you know what you can do is once you know when The Story Never Ends, when it's definitely going to be out, let me know. I can post it on Donna's Happy Hour Facebook.
Cool.
And so anybody that goes to see Donna's Happy Hour Facebook can find out information on Rob.
That'd be great.
So in regards to if you're, who handles like Instagram and Twitter? Do you do all that yourself?
I'm doing all that myself, yeah.
Wow.
I handle my own stuff.
Wow. And is that rather time consuming or not so,
It can be.
It can be.
Yeah, I try to do just like, for example, promoting this album coming out. It takes time to go on there and, I'm pretty good with it. I used to be a graphic artist years ago.
Oh.
So I can design my own promo photos and stuff like that, which I usually do.
All right.
So, like these guys that play on my record, they don't handle their own accounts normally.
I would
Somebody else
imagine
does it for them.
they
It's
can't
too much.
possibly,
It's too-
right?
Yeah,
It's
they don't
too
have
much.
time for that. They'll go on once in a while and put something, but usually they have guys that do it for them.
Do it for them.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because that's one of the things that, I wonder about. I mean, I know you work full time.
Yeah,
and
unfortunately.
then you play, hopefully, now that things are opening up, you'll be having gigs again that you'll be playing.
Yeah, we already have. Well, I'm already having gigs with Whiskey Crossing. We're already performing.
Right.
So the solo gigs will happen. I usually play. If you go out to watch Whiskey Crossing, I usually play during their breaks.
Right.
So I'll put the bass down, and I'll grab my guitar, and I'll sing some songs.
And I see that their schedule's getting kind of busy and full. And I've had Whiskey Crossing on my show. They're another band that you really should check out. They're excellent, and also when they play, they really get the audience going. So it's worth looking into. So please keep me informed as to where and when you're going to be playing.
Yep.
I'm hoping that I can talk Rob into maybe finding some gigs where I live. You have a place to stay. You'll be right near the lake. You'll be close to the lake. You got a pool at your accent,
That's true,
It'll be like a little mini vacay for you.
I know.
But yeah.
I've always been scared to go to Pennsylvania. You never know what's going to happen down there.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny. When I moved to upstate New York years ago when I was a kid growing up in New Jersey, upstate New York seemed very scary and, and same thing with Pennsylvania. But you know what? Honestly, you got the tri-state area. You got Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey, and it's,
And I played a lot in Connecticut, too.
Oh, yeah, Connecticut's a nice area. Yeah. Well, we have to start wrapping up. Again, Rob Benson, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
The Story Never Ends will be out June or July. Just either check his page or my page to see exactly when. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I wish the
it.
best of luck for you in the
so much.
future.
Thank you for having me on again.
Oh, you're welcome.
I expect by the time we're all done, I will be your most frequent guest on the show.
You're working on it. That's okay. It's a pleasure to always have you.
I'm tired of Donna riding my coattails.
I'm always on the phone. Do you think? I have an idea. It only gets worse.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you, Rob. Let's say goodbye to the audience.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Donna's Happy Hour is filmed on location at the Blue Arrow Farm.
It's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now, it's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now, it's Donna's happy hour. Come on, get happy now, it's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour, it's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour. It's Donna's happy hour.